Hi everyone, my name is Nick Horsley, CEO of Highview Resources. We're a district scale explorer of the Toodoggone region. If you don't know about the Toodoggone region, I will do my best to give you a high level overview and share some of the features I think are interesting of what we've got going on. Please excuse the forward-looking statements. I'll do my best to touch on things that are less speculative if I can, but there will undoubtedly be some forward-looking statements. So we'll start with the management team. Myself, I've been in the capital markets for about 20 years, mineral prospector since 2008. I think my mineral prospecting background is giving me a bit of an edge in the camp, as this year we've gone from 9,000 hectares to 27,000 hectares, making us the 5th largest landholder in the Toodoggone region. Recently we just announced Nader. Nader just finished 2.5 years with VRIC doing district scale exploration in Latin America, looking for porphyry systems. He did his thesis at Gibraltar, so he knows about British Columbia porphyries, and being a structural geologist, I think you'll understand why that's very important in this camp. We've got Mike Dufresne as a tech advisor. He's a principal of Apex Geoscience. Apex Geoscience has been very heavy in the Toodoggone region for the last 7-8 years at least, probably taken more samples or drill targets than almost anyone except for Bob Dickinson. Bob Schaefer, legendary geotechnical guy, great guy to have working with us. And Marilyn Lacasse spent time at Red Mountain in the Golden Triangle. She was recommended to me by Sean Kunkun of Dolly Varden Solar. She's got a great eye for rocks, and she's been coming up with some great ideas. So the Toodoggone region has the past producer Comess mine. So the great thing about that is there's a all-weather road, electricity, camp, mill already in place. Mark Carney's already talking about this, one of the mines that he's going to fast track back into production. So they're talking about production next year. So we consolidated the company in May 2025, and from there it was a fresh start. So I was fortunate enough to have a very well-known mining industry financial advisor sort of headhunt us and talk to us about it. And we've really built a team around structure and making sure the cap table's well held. So I would say there's probably about 12 guys who are somewhere sort of under 9% who are looking to build a company with me, and it's been great. I can say my friend Bob Dickinson has a little position. Very fortunate that he did that. And Dolly Varden, CEO, Sean Kunkun's a shareholder as well and a big supporter, and among others in the city. So the Toodoggone has seen a huge amount of investment in the last 24 months, with probably over $250 million committed. Notably, Amark has a joint venture with Freeport-McMoRan of $150 million. They've moved on to the phase 2 of that. TDG's raised $46 million, with Skeena being a large investor in that outfit. Thesis has raised $66 million, with Centerra being a participant in several rounds, and Sun Summit's raised around $28 million. Sort of down the belt, you saw Teck and Centerra invest in Metal Energy Corp, which has the NIV target. Fantastic target. I did try to buy it, but got outbid by better men, I guess. But the region is seeing huge excitement. I think this thing will go down to be like a Timmins or sort of a Carlin trend. It's really just a rediscovery. The BC Geological Survey is saying that this belt, called the Golden Horseshoe Toodoggone region, should have more porphyries than anywhere else in BC. So here's the lay of the land here. These are all the sort of competitors. We're sort of following giants right now. We've got the 5th largest land package. I think we're at actually about a $7 million market cap today, as word is getting out. I think you've got some great companies with great backgrounds there. The Aurora discovery, if you're not familiar with it, they're calling it the 2nd highest grade porphyry ever discovered in BC history. And once again, the team led by Bob Dickinson has put that together. So I like to call Bob Dickinson the Tom Brady of the mining industry. He's got more discoveries than Tom Brady has Super Bowl rings. So why we're interesting? If you look on this map, you can't really see, but the far right side, you see the Aurora discovery. So about 4 kilometers to the west, we've made a geochemical anomaly and a mag anomaly. And why it's significant is we have a 90 ppm moly assay. That's sort of the high, but a 1.4 by 1 kilometer anomaly. So moly will transport, whereas gold, silver, copper doesn't. So in this camp, anything between a 5 and a 10 ppm moly would be highly anomalous, and we're a 90 ppm. So sort of the theory would be that potentially you've got a sort of a cap of a porphyry nearby. So we're pretty excited by this, and we have 673 ppm copper, an outlier assay of almost 60 grams of silver in soil, which is quite robust, and 0.5 ppm gold. So, very consistent with what we're seeing there. And why it's significant, you see these structural corridors, those big fault systems. So the one that Aurora's was discovered on had the nearby Shasta epithermal mine. That was a past producing mine that was high graded. So they never found a porphyry close to it. So epithermal systems, sort of vein deposits, are sort of sometimes offshoots of these big volcanic things like porphyries. So they're a great sort of pathfinder. So why we're significant is you see the Baker mine, that's a well-known past producing epithermal mine. In the same structural corridor, we've now located our porphyry target. So we think that's pretty significant and exciting. So we're not a one-trick pony. So we picked up another property. It was about 9,000 hectares from a company by the name of Coast Copper. And they had staked a 1992 placer dome IP target, mag target, and geochem target over a mapped intrusion to the west of the Kemess. So Kemess is a porphyry, and the old saying was there is no porphyries north of Kemess. Well, Centerra's found 3, and porphyries happen in clusters. So we've got the cast target, which had a high chargeability, 73-second count, and a 8,000 ohm resistivity. So now we've got sparse geochem and shallow IP done historically with an IP target. So we thought this was really exciting. I ran it by some smart guys and asked, at a company my size, should we buy this thing? And the guy said, wow, a 1992 placer dome target in the Toodoggone never drilled, that's really something. So we bought it. So we reflew it, and as you can see on the left slide in that sort of circled area, you're seeing sort of magnetic destruction. So that can be sometimes very interesting when you're looking for a porphyry. And then on the other side where you see the cast, you got a very defined IP target. That's sort of a textbook sort of porphyry looking mag. So we will look to basically do soil geochem, reshoot the IP, and if all the stars align, we vectored in a very exciting target in the Toodoggone region. So notable on that land concession we picked up, there's also some polymetallic stuff, sometimes an outlier of porphyry mineralization. Also the Bren had one of the highest grade assays for silver in the province, 11,000 grams of silver. But what's nice here is what you want to see is these northwest structures, and you can also see a large northern sort of structure pulling through there. So our structural geologist is very excited about these things. So you want to see these big intercepts, colliding, and sort of these low, sort of anomalous things happening in between them. So this is just extremely underexplored. So our plan is basically systematic blanket exploration and generate as many targets as we can in the camp. So the original flagship property we had and where we spent most of the money last year was the Golden Stranger. Great historic operator, Sutton Resources. They did a historic resource estimate of 39,000 ounces of gold at 2.7 grams. You'll see some notable drill intercepts historically, 10 meters, 11.5 grams of gold. There's 10 meters of 3.4 grams. If you look at the bottom one, it's 262 to 272 meters, so 10 grams of almost 6 grams of gold. So this was a true epithermal thing. What was great is our geological team at Apex had spent a lot of time at the Lawyer's Gold, which is a great epithermal project. So they really believe they now have a keen understanding of where the mineralization might lie, and we've permitted this. We've got drill targets. But then this season kind of changed things. We did some field mag and then did some follow-up soil sampling, and we located a copper zone. So the original drilling had basically intersected a mineralized rhyolite dike, which is quite unique. And sort of the drilling orientation they used was almost like wildcatting. There was no really methodology to the drilling, and we think we could do a lot better. But you don't typically see sort of a mineralized rhyolite dike in these areas. So now you've got this sort of magnetic low structure, and that's where we would predict to see mineralization, and that's sort of where this new copper zone is. And that was super encouraging. So 3.72% copper was the sort of high-grade assay we saw. So we're starting to, Apex tells me I'm nuts to still think there's a potential porphyry there, but we shot 4 lines of IP, and we started to see some sort of build up sort of on the end of the survey, so we'll probably shoot some more lines and do some more work. But we flew it after all, and as you can see, there's sort of a northwest orientation of a lot of the mineralization, so typically, what you want to see in the camp, so we've got a lot of stuff to follow up on. So right now, we've got 3 priority targets, 2 porphyry, 2 epithermal. The systematic explorations can be the same. Blanket soils, reshoot IP if it's historic, shoot IP on the new targets, and then see what our targets look like there. We have a bit of time, so I'm going to keep going. So through our sort of M&A we did this year, we also picked up a really exciting target called the Saunders. So why it's significant is you see that structural line running up. That's called the Saunders Fault. So I'm wrapping up here. Sorry, guys. I guess we don't have much time. But yeah, definitely stick with us, and thanks so much for everybody's time. And I think it's a great region, and if you want to learn about the Toodoggone, I would go see those folks at Amark and see what they're doing. They're great company. Thanks, guys.